Hey, beautiful people. Thank you for joining my channel today. I have like some stuff that I really want to talk about as it relates to transformation. And I actually want to do like a book review a little bit. And I'm going to do the type of book review where I'm just talking about the book as opposed to like reading the segments of the book, because I want you to read this book. So here we are. So first of all, make sure that you liking and following and all that razzmatazz as relates to this page. And making sure that your notifications are turned on in case I post any other videos in the next few days or weeks or whatever. So as you know, I am an entrepreneur, and I am based off of faith. I utilize my faith and Christian faith to grow and to maximize and understand what God has for me and all this stuff. But can I be real with you? Like 100 is the simple fact that over the past few months, I have experienced like a major transformation, like legit, like major transformation. I have hit rock bottom financially, spiritually, emotionally, and I had to make a change. And, you know, in this journey of change, I didn't even realize like how much of me I had lost over time, like how much of myself I had not really begun to tap into and didn't really understand and know, or even value for that matter. So I had to experience this transformation, and I'm so grateful. I had to experience the things that I have gone through to be where I am today and to go where I need to go. Okay. And so during this time of transformation, really coming to understand who I am, really coming to understand where I have been and how I got to that place and what I'm doing now to build myself, build my hope spiritually, and continue to move forward in faith, you know, has just been life changing. So during this time, I read this book, right? Boss Moves by Myron Golden. Okay, so if you're not familiar with Myron Golden, I don't even know really how to describe this particular person, because he's just amazing when it comes to the kingdom of God, but then also he's really amazing when it comes to providing insight for business strategy development. It's all based off kingdom principles and how to live your best life and how to develop a relationship with your family, your team, your spouse, your whoever, your significant others. He gives kingdom principles for everyday living. All right. So in his book, Boss Moves, which is business optimization, success secrets from $1 Million Roundtable. This thing is is filled with like so much information that is transformational. And I keep saying transformation because I can't think of a better term right now. And I know there's a lot of other words that match up with that, but it's just like life changing. And especially if you're the type of person that's like, okay, I always know I need to make it to the next level. I'm open for growth. I am pliable when it comes to change. I highly suggest that you read it. If you're the type of person that doesn't change often and you think you're changing, but everybody around you does not see it, I don't know how powerful this book would be for you, but I would say begin to read it and start to allow that to kind of marinate and process in you so that you can really, really start seeing how valuable and how much work you're bringing to the table. Like one of the biggest things in the book is understanding like what your superpower is, your greatest superpower. And this was something that at the time, right around the time that I began to read this, that is something that I was really thinking about, like, what is my it factor? You know, what is my superpower? Understanding what that is and understanding like how over the years I hadn't really embraced it fully. And I had started doing other things, believing that was my it factor, or that was my superpower. But it was like I was doing so many other things that I didn't have a focused superpower, if you get what I'm saying. Like, so I had to experience what I experienced over the past few months to really come to understand like who I was. Reading this book really, really broke down like the importance of knowing your superpower or your it factor so that you can maximize in the marketplace. And so maximizing in the marketplace for me literally means allowing my superpower to work for me. Not necessarily saying that I'm doing a bunch of work by doing this and doing that and all that stuff, but just resting in who I am, being amazing in who I am, showing up as myself, and just seeing things flow for me. And as a result of that, literally my mind has like shifted. I promise you, like I'm not the same person I was, 4 months ago, a year ago, 2 seconds ago. I'm not, because I'm ever evolving by understanding who I am, who God created me to be, and how I can connect with this world. My biggest it factor is the ability to connect. And I recognize that. And it's not necessarily just connect. Okay, we connect to God. We understand that He's the source. I understand that He's my source. Then I, connect to people and understanding who they are, so that I can embrace them for who God has created me to embrace them for, and seeing them in the eyes in which God sees them. But also connecting the dots for people too. Like ever since I was a child, I have always been a troubleshooter. Okay, and so like in me, like troubleshooting for people is just like natural. Like people call me literally to be like, yo, can you help me find out this or find out that? And I never really embraced that as like, yo, that is my it factor. When it comes to problem solving, I can connect situation. I can connect people to opportunities. I can connect people to people. I can connect people to all these things. And by reading this book, it was just like a confirmation for that, so this is like a testimonial / book review, if you will, because I definitely see the impact that this book has had with the place that I was in, and seeing where I am now as a result of this, as a result of reading this book and embracing the principles within the book, as well as understanding overall the kingdom principle of who God created me to be, so I can be amazing. That's basically what this book is about. So there's a thing like where he talks about, different levels of work, if you will. It's like the implementation factor. Those are people like always working, all the time, like working, barely making any money, just working. And they're not like the leaders. They're not the decision maker. They're not the overall, bosses, if you will. And I recognize that in these past few years, I have been functioning as that. Even though I have my own business, I recognize that I was functioning as an implementer. I was always working, doing all the work, doing all of the work. And I didn't embrace team, right? And, but it was like the lowest level of being in the marketplace, the lowest level. So I have a business, but I'm operating at the lowest level. And then he talked about, at this level, you only make so much. You don't have time to do anything else because you're always working. And then he went to understanding like the level of 2, right? The level 2 is unification. And unification it's the step above, of course, implementation, but it's like you are able to manage people, but you are still kind of a worker bee. Like you managing, and you can build a good salary from it, but it's not at the optimal level of where we're supposed to be, right? Especially within like the entrepreneurship realm, especially within the career-driven realm, especially within whatever it is that you're trying to do. Like I can take this and apply it to any part of life, for real. And so the third level was the communication level. And this is where you're talking more. You're talking more about, you're showing some level of genius. You might be a salesperson. You might be someone that, can provide insight to a solution or what have you. And you're able to speak a language. You're speaking language. You're talking. You're showing up in terms of being able to talk about what you're doing. And this is a pretty good, significant level, because you can show off who you are, right? You can show off who you are. Then the last one, the top level, the fourth level is imagination. And this is where you just thrive at being a visionary. And you can say what the vision is, and you have a team that operates that vision. This is like the top of the top, y'all. Like this is the CEO, legit CEO level. Like many of us, by the way, I'm gonna just jump on this real quick. Many of us say that we're CEOs and what have you, but we have no team. And we have a team of one, and we're still implementers, and we don't even have unification because it's only us, and we're barely managing ourselves. That's another situation for another day, another conversation for another day, another topic altogether. But imagination allows you to fully lead a team, but not just by leading a team, by overseeing every little thing that somebody's doing, but it's leading the vision so that your team can follow it. And I'm like, I have to get to that level. And my biggest drawback over time for me not to see that I was supposed to be at that particular level was the simple fact that I had been so stuck at implementing, and I hadn't even valued who I was, like to the point where I'm supposed to be here, but I was operating down here. And I was operating down here because my self-esteem wasn't where it needed to be. My self-esteem wasn't growing at the rate that it should have. And so I'm literally operating down here at the implementation level of everything in life. Like literally implementing everything in life, trying to do everything on my own, not asking for help, not working with the team, not working with family, not working with friends, not working with co-workers, partnerships and whatever. And I recognize like, I gotta get my life. And so after reading this book, it literally has pushed me to pursue more partnership. It has pushed me to utilize my zone of genius to make things happen, to utilize my zone of genius to be the visionary that I'm supposed to be, and be the communicator that I need to be, so that I can implement greater strategies for life, greater strategies for spiritual growth, greater strategies for business growth. Like I literally see like everything is aligning and working for my good according to what the scriptures say, right? Everything is doing what it's supposed to do to make me to who I need to be, because I believe and I have faith to make it happen. But I just want to say thank you, Myron Golden, for sharing a lot of detail about, embracing your superpower, understanding who you are, working in your lane of genius, being a imaginary as opposed to implementer, and knowing how to define where you are in your process, but also be willing to change to make it to a greater level. That's the book review, y'all. That is what I will tell you is imperative. It builds some levels of wealth. And when I think about wealth, I'm not just talking about finances, because a beautiful thing that's going to come, but it's also the wealth of emotional satisfaction, spiritual growth, mental awareness, mental acuity building. It's like all those things that make us better people so that we can attract the things that we need to attract. So y'all, check out this book. I got a link in my in the little section below, but you definitely want to check this book out. It's empowering. It's especially if you're in the business realm, entrepreneur, whatever. It's very, very beneficial for you to read it. You're going to learn so much. You're going to start thinking about some things that you may have had in your past and how you let those things go to reignite what you need to do in the future. So I hope that you guys are blessed, and I will talk to you all soon.